Senedu Gebru was born in a small town of Addis Alam in 1915, the eldest daughter of Kantiba Gebru Desta. As a young girl, her father Kantiba, Mayor Gebru Desta, a renowned diplomat and an intellectual, as well as her mother, Wezero Kasaye Yelemtu, had a big influence on her. Wezero Senedu began school at the age of 4 at the Swedish Mission School and studied there until grade 8. In 1928, she left for Switzerland with her younger sister, Senedu Gebru, who later became a nun, Mahoy Mariam Gebru, a renowned pianist and composer. Senedu remained in Swiss until 1933, studying languages, history, geography, and law. She spoke many languages, including German, French, English, and Italian. After Senedu returned to Ethiopia, she became a teacher. She first taught at the St. George School, a boys' school in Addis that had a girls' section. She taught French, Amharic writings, and hygiene. When the Italian invasion began in 1935, her husband Lorenzo Tezas left the country with Emperor Haile Selassie. However, Wezero Senedu remained in Ethiopia and eventually joined the resistance against the Italians, the first woman to join the Black Lions, or Tukur Ambessa, who were fighting under the leadership of Ras Mru Haile Selassie.
Ras Mru, and they of course urged him to lead them, the resistance movement, the anti-fascist resistance movement. And when they first met up, he tried to impress you. This is what she tells me. He tried to impress on them the challenges ahead. His troops had been decimated. Gas had been used really to wipe them out, poison gas. But their enthusiasm and their high spirits at that point, I think, he had seen the war, what it brought, cruelty of the fascists, the poison gas. He was trying to dissuade them, especially my mother, because she was a woman. Preparations have been made for you to join your husband and also to pursue your education in Paris at a later point. And she flatly refused, of course, to part with her comrades. And that's really a big moment of decision.
In 1937, Senedu, along with many of her compatriots, was captured when the Black Lions were cornered by the Italians and forced to lay down their arms. That surrender was to be a moment that she later stated was one of the greatest regrets of her life. She would have preferred to die fighting the occupying forces instead. Indeed, virtually all of the men captured that day were later executed in a single vengeful act by the fascist troops in retribution for the assassination attempt on Graziani. Amongst those executed was Wezero Senedu's younger brother, Senedu Gebru. Wezero Senedu herself and the other women captured alongside her, including her sister Senedu, were imprisoned on the Italian island of Asinara, where they were to spend 2 years before being released and repatriated by their captors in 1939. Wezero Senedu was appointed director of a school in Dese, Wezero Sehin School. But it was not long before she was called back to Addis to eventually lead the Etege Menen School. She was the first Ethiopian women's school director and headed the school for 8 years. During this time, she used to encourage girls to aim for higher professions other than the usual female roles.
ያን ጊዜ ብዙም በባህላችን ሴቶችን ቶሎ ወደ ጋብቻ ለመግፋት እንጂ ወደ ትምህርት ዓለም የማደፋፈር አዝማሚያ አልነበረም እና ያንን ሴቶች እንዳይማሩ የሚከላከለውን ኃይል ተጋፍጦ ተከላክለው የታጩንም ልጆች ቆዩ ትምህርታቸውን ሲጨርሱ ይዳራሉ እያሉ ከቤተሰብም እየተጋጩ ለትምህርት ያበቋቸው በኋላ በተለያየ መንገድ ብዙ ቦታ የደረሱ የእቴጌ መነን ተማሪዎች አሉ። እቴጌ ተማሪ በር ላይ ማስታወቂያ ያለጠፋሉልኝ ሴቶች ልጆች እንደ ወንድሞቻችሁ ሀገራችሁን እንድትረዱ ቦታ ይዛችሁ ሀገራችሁን እንድታገለግሉ ከብታችሁ ተማሩ ግብዣ ነው
ለሴቶች ገብተው እንዲማሩ እና ዘበኞች እዛ በር ላይ አንድ ሴቶች ልጆች እንዲቆመው ቢታዩ ግቡ ነው የሚሏቸው እና ገብተው ይጠይቃሉ እና ብዙ ጊዜ እሳቸው ጋር ይቀርባሉ። ለምን አትማሪም ለምን ተማሪ አልገባሽም ብለው እየገፋፉ ነው የሚያስገቡት። ችግር ካላቸው ቤተሰቦቻቸውን ጥሩ ብለው ተረድተው እንዲማሩ።
አንዳንድ ልጆች በወጡ ቁጥር ወይ ታጭቶ ምን ብሎ ይቀራሉ። እነሱ ለሌላ ነገር የቀረን ይመስላቸዋል። ወይዘሮ ስንዱ ይገቡልናል ክፍል ደግሞ እንደውም በሳምንት 2 ይገባሉ። ደብዳቤ ጽፌ በሁለታችን ደብዳቤ ጽፈን እናግባና የመጣ ዓመት እዚህ አንገኝም፣ ምክንያቱም የሚከፍለን የለም፣ ክፍያ የለንም፣ ወላጆ የሚከፍሉን የሚረዱን በቃ ብለዋል እና እንዲያውቁ ብለን ሰጠን። እየፈራው የተንቀጠቀጥኩ ያኔ ባላገር ነበር። ቢሮ ወስጄ ሰጠው። አነበቡኛ ይሄን ጉዳይ ያጠናለሁ እስቲ ቆይና እናንተ ተስፋ የምጣልባችሁ ልጆች ናችሁ፣ በጭራሽ መሄድ አያስፈልግም እና ልጆች ወደ ቤታቸው ሲሄዱ ለ3 ወር እዚሁ ቆዩ፣ ተነጋግሬ ውጤቱን አገኛለሁ እስከ መስከረም። ልክ ትምህርት ቤት ሲከፈት ጉዳዩን ያኔ ታውቃላችሁ ብሎ መጋቢውን ጠርቶ ገንዘብ እንዳትጠይቃቸው አሉ። እሺ ያልን እዛው ከረምን። እንትን አለ ተማሪ ቤት ሲከፈት ተፈቅዶላቸዋል ተባለ።
Writing was another passion of Wazaro Senedu. While at Tegemenan School as an author, she wrote more than 10 books. Her writings include poetry, drama, and fiction.
ራሳቸው በትካዜ ውስጥ ሆነው ወይም ደግሞ አንድ ሰው ለማስተማር የተለያዩ ግጥሞችን ለህብረተሰቡ ለማስተማር የጻፉት ነው ያገኘሁት። እሳቸውም የነገሩኝ ምክንያት አላቸው ለጻፉበት እና ለምሳሌ ሰውና ዓለም በሚለው ርዕስ ላይ የጻፉት ሰው ከንቱ መሆኑን፣ ዓለም ደግሞ በዚች ሰፊ ዓለም ውስጥ የከንቱ ሰው መኖሩን ለማመልከት ልክ በጣም የሚደንቀው በሙዚቃ በበገና አስመልክተው ነው የጻፉት። ሰው በገና ነው፣ ሐዘን ሲያስለቅሰው ደስታ የሚያዘፍነው፣ የመጪው መጫወቻ ነው። ዓለም ቀለም የለው ነጭ ብርጭቆ ነው፣ እንደ ስሜቱ የተከፋለት ጥቁር ሲሞላው የተደሰተለት ቀይ የሚያደርገው፣ እጅግ ደስ ባለው ሰዓት ይሆናል አዲስ ፍጥረት፣ ይተረጉማል ሁሉም በቅንነት፣ ጠላቱን ይፈልጋል የሚያመሰግንበት፣ አዝኖ ግን የተከፋለት ቀኑን ይለዋል ሌሊት፣ የት አለና ይላል ወዳጅነት፣ በሁሉም ላይ ያጣል እምነት፣ ሲቀባ ይውላል ፍጥረቱን ይህን ጥቁር ቀለሙን፣ ሰው በገና ነው የመጪው መጫወቻ ነው።
Some of the writings were collected in 1950 under the title Yelibbe Mazhaf, Book of My Heart, which were social, political, and patriotic addresses. She was married to Colonel Asaf Lemma, from whom she had 3 children. In 1954, she won a seat in the first parliament, making history by becoming one of the first 2 women parliamentarians. During her time in parliament, she took stands on women's issues. Her infuriating confrontational style won her enemies and admiration throughout the political circles. She served as vice president of the parliament.
That was the first parliament that she was in, and the second, and these parliaments were not exactly the same as the parliaments today, you know. So, nevertheless, people got up and spoke in them, and people began to get used to the idea that you elect somebody and so on. So she was involved in that. She was one of the first people to be elected. She wasn't appointed. So she was involved in a context where this was very unusual. In fact, it is said that on one occasion in Parliament, one of the members, a male, called her Atto Senedu. She slapped him in the Parliament. So, you know, she wasn't having any of this idea that it's men only.
የፍትሐ ብሔርን ሕግ በጠቅላይ ሚኒስትሩ አማካኝነት ለምክር ቤት ቀርቦ በምንመክርበት ጊዜ አንድ አንቀጽ ላይ ምን ይላል? የመኖሪያ ስፍራን ባል ነው የሚመርጠው ይላል። እና እሳቸው ታዲያ ይሄ ነገር ከነከናቸውና እና ለምንድን ነው ያው ባልና ሚስት ከሆኑ ሁለቱ ተማክረው ነው እንጂ ወንዱ ብቻውን ለምንድን ነው ብቻውን ለሱ እድል የሚሰጠው ብለው ተቹ። በኋላ እንግዲህ የነበረው ያው ወንድ ብዛት ነበረና ምንም ለሳቸው ንግግር ሪስፖንድ ያደረገ ስላልነበረ በኋላ ምን አሉ? አይ ዛሬ እናንተ ይሄን ነገር አሁን ያቀረብኩን ባትደግፉ ከጊዜ በኋላ በምክር ቤት ሴቶች ተወካዮች ሲበዙ እና ይሄ ነገር ስራ ላይ እንደምውል ተስፋ አደርጋለሁ ብለው ትንቢት ተናግረው ነበር። ይኸው አሁን ብዙ ሴቶች በአሁኑ ምክር ቤትም ተገኝተዋል። ይሄ ከሚያስደንቀኝ አንዱ ነገር ይሄ ነው። በተረፈ በሁሉም በኮሚቴው ደረጃ ሆነ በሌላም በጣም ንቁ ተሳታፊ ነበሩ። በጣም አደንቃቸዋለሁ። ስለማደንቃቸውም ልጄን እንደውም ስትወለድ ስንዱ ብዬ ነው አሁን ልጄ ስንዱ ብያት ነው ያለችው እና በጣም የሚደነቁ ሴት ናቸው። ንጹህ ኢትዮጵያዊ ናቸው። ለሀገር ደግሞ በጣም የሚያስቡ ለግላቸው ሳይሆን ለሀገርና ለሕዝብ የሚያስቡ ነበሩ። እስከዚህ ድረስ ነው የማውቃቸው።
After her term in Parliament was over, Wezaro Senedu took up other causes that were also near and dear to her, serving as the head of the Red Cross in Ethiopia for some time. She was one of the founding members of the very first Disabled Persons Association at around the same time. In 2005, Wezaro Senedu was awarded an honorary PhD from Addis Ababa University in recognition of her outstanding achievements throughout her life and career. The Honorable Dr. Senedu Gebru passed away on April 20th, 2009, at the age of 94.
ሁሌም ሌክቸራቸው ተምራችሁ እንኳን ነገር መሆን አለባችሁ። በቃ አንድ ቪዥነሪ እንዲሆን ሰው ህልም እንዲኖረው እንዲያድግ እንደዚህ መገንባት ትንሽ ነገር አለ።
አገራቸውን በቅን ያገለገሉ በጣም ከፍተኛ እውቀት ያላቸው በጣም አክቲቭ የሆኑ ሰርተው የማይደክሙ በጣም ንቁ ሴት ነበሩ።
I think she's a woman ahead of her generation, ahead of her time, and who had the courage and the energy to be a pioneer successfully in many fields. She was not afraid, fearless to be different. So she taught people that, and I think people were cautious of approaching her because she might bite. She was she didn't believe in this diplomacy between people. She spoke her mind. So I think what one remembers is this woman who had immense energy and pursued her goals of education and freedom for girls all her life, really.
She talked a lot about being with Tukurambasa. It was relatively short period of time before they surrendered, but they traveled throughout the country, south, southeast as well, where they ultimately surrendered. And she said, I was discovering my country as it was being taken away from me. And enormous regret that just now as I see its beauty, its glory, they're trying to take it away from me. But I think this was by far, in her view, that the experience that shaped Senedu Gebru.
ጉዞ ተጨመረ ወደ አምቦ፣ ከአምቦ ወደ ጌዶ፣ ከጌዶ ወደ ነቀምት፣ ከነቀምት ደግሞ እዛ ላይ ቆየን 3 ወር። ህዝቡ እንዴት ያለ አቀባበል ነው! የሰው አስተናጋጅነት፣ የሰው ደግነት፣ የሰው ርህራሄ። አንድ ቦታ ስንደርስ የሀገራችንን ውበት ልንተዋወቅ የቻልነው በዛ ጉዞ እዛ አስቸጋሪ፣ አስደንቃኝ፣ አሳዛኝ በሆነበት ጊዜ ይሄ ነው ኢትዮጵያ እና ይሄን ነው ደግሞ አሁን ልናጣ አለኝታችንን ማለት ነው።
I think she sees herself more as the anti-fascist, as a person of the anti-fascist resistance than anything else. I think that shaped her identity. She never registered as an Arbanya, as a patriot. She thought one doesn't do that to register. It's not to say anything about others who register, but of course she's now buried in Selassie Trinity Cathedral, reserved for patriots. I think it's fair to say that the invasion, the resistance, surrender, liberation, for her was by far the most important formative experience of her entire life.